Would you like to know how to find good topics for YouTube videos? Now here on YouTube, you'll find a lot of advice from YouTube and video experts teaching you how to do this. I've watched a lot of these videos and you'll find a lot of good advice, you'll find a lot of generic advice, and you'll actually find a lot of misinformation. You'll find some things that I disagree with, and I disagree with them because I currently produce over 60 different YouTube channels, and I figured out the perfect system for finding topics for YouTube videos, and it works super well. Now, your channel might be different than the types of channels that I produce, so what I'm gonna do is go through some of this content that I found on YouTube, and I'm gonna share my opinion on the advice, and I'll put it into context as to why I think that way. So by the end of this episode, you'll know the right strategy for you to find good topics to talk about. The first thing I want to address is most YouTube experts, they're experts through one channel, and that gives them experience, right? They've built one channel successfully, and they tell you what they did, but they don't know any other way. And so what I offer is I produce over 60 different YouTube channels that follow a specific strategy, and we get wonderful results. We have revenue streams of 7 and 8 figures on many of these channels. So a couple days ago, I came here to YouTube and I typed in that question, how to find good topics for YouTube videos. And this one that I found at the top, it's from Think Media. He's got several pieces of advice. And so the first piece of advice that he shares is to go into your comments and find the questions there. Now, part of this is genius, but part of this is less effective, okay? The genius part of it is when you find the questions that your target audience is asking, that is gold because you can really relate to them, or they'll really love this content. You'll help build a relationship. But the problem is, I have found that when people type questions in the comments, they word it differently than when they type questions into Google or YouTube. So if you're wanting to get traffic to your video, you're wanting people to find you through search, then you don't want to pull the questions from the comments. Now you can get ideas there. Go to the comments, look at the questions, but take those questions, take that idea for topics over to your keyword research and find how do they consistently type in those questions when they go to Google or YouTube. And I always mention Google and YouTube together because Google owns YouTube and we get a lot of views from YouTube search, but then you look at the analytics and it says external. You click on external and it says Google search. So we're getting a lot of views from both Google and YouTube. The next idea that this kind man shares is that you can go into the research section. Now YouTube has changed this, it's now called trends. But if you go into the trends section, either on your phone or on your MacBook, YouTube's actually created an AI tool. It's kind of like ChatGPT that can come up with video ideas for you for your content. You can type in a topic and it will come up with ideas of titles. It can even outline content for you. Now, there are a few problems with this tool and doing content this way. While it can help you come up with ideas, these ideas aren't strategic. There's no tie between this AI tool and your actual channel. This AI tool is the same for everybody, no matter what channel you're logged in as. I've done a lot of experiments with this. Hopefully they improve this down the road, but right now it's not tied to your analytics, which means that any of the recommendations it has are just random ideas. They're not strategic saying, oh, if you make this video, that will be really good on your channel. This will really succeed on your channel. You have no idea using this tool. So this is just a way of, hey, let's be creative. Let's come up with some creative stuff. But there's no strategy. You don't know. And I love to be really tactical. I love to be creative when I know, okay, let's be creative in an area that we know is going to get us results. I'm signed in right now to the Noelle YouTube channel. Her channel's got about 860,000 subscribers. She teaches Airbnb real estate investing. Now I'm in the analytics section and I've come up here and I've clicked on trends. So in his video, it was called research, but YouTube changed the name of it. So now it's called trends. Now you can type ideas in here. So if I put in real estate investor, then I can click on brainstorm ideas, which is the same thing as clicking on go to inspiration. For some reason, it says real estate investor has low interest from your viewers, which is just preposterous. This channel is a multiple 7-figure earning channel. Viewers love it. All of her viewers love her content on real estate investing. But this is saying, yeah, your viewers aren't going to like this topic. So that's really weird. Let's go into the brainstorm ideas. And we get some topics here. Real estate investing on a budget. It says there's medium interest. Like, I don't even know what these mean. I don't know what the different interest levels mean and who's the audience, and yeah, I don't get that. You know, there's low interest. There's even one that says very low interest. So if I click on this first one here, real estate investing on a budget, you'll see here that it will actually create an outline for you. I've tried to do this because I love AI tools. I actually use ChatGPT for several things. So I wanted to see, okay, how can I actually use this tool? Can it help me outline my content? But the content was so generic and so wordy, and it's like, this isn't me. This isn't my content at all. Am I just going to turn myself into an AI machine, or am I unique? You know, when people find the Nate Woodbury channel, is it just going to be the same repetitive thing, or is it going to be unique to Nate Woodbury? You look over on the right side of the tool here. It says, need more inspiration? What about these topics? Flipping for profit, rental property secrets, tiny house investing. See, it's just guessing. It's just grasping at straws. Like, maybe here's some topics. So these type tools can be good for idea generation and kind of inspiring your creativity, but it could do a lot better if you want to be strategic and actually know what content is going to work and succeed. So here are the stats for Noelle's channel. In the last 90 days, she's had 4.5 million views. Her watch time was 424,000 hours. She increased her number of subscribers in those 90 days by 83,000, and her ad revenue was 108. It says estimated revenue. It might fluctuate by some pennies there, but this is the amount of revenue that YouTube has paid Noelle. Now, Noelle's made way more than that. In this same time frame, she's made several $1,000,000 from this YouTube channel. This is just the ad revenue. Let me explain more detail on how she does that. So if you go to YouTube and you type in this question, this is another topic that she helps people with, how to get business credit with poor personal credit. Notice that you see her ranking at the very top. You know, and these are videos that we posted 4 years ago, another one 3 months ago. We've been very tactical about that. We do keyword research to find the questions that our target audience is asking. If there's a space that she wants to explore, we take a look at that entire category to see what's the opportunity there, and can we dominate that space? So let me show you an example. This is a spreadsheet, right? And we did some research. We found all the questions that have the words real estate investor find. And then I found another branch right next to it. I say branch because I use a tree analogy, but another category right next to it, real estate investor become. So real estate investor find and real estate investor become. Those are very similar. But when I grouped them and separated them like that, I showed them to Noelle. She looked at this first branch and she said, now that I see it grouped like this, I realize this is not my target audience. She had already filmed a couple of these videos over the years. I've worked with her for 5 years now. So when she looked at this group of titles, she says, you know, I've already filmed a couple of those, but now I recognize when I see them grouped like this is not my target audience. So I don't need to film any more videos on this branch. I don't want to dominate this group or this branch. But this one, the real estate investor become group, she said, these are my target audience. I want my videos to rank at the top of YouTube for every single one of these. And we checked her ranking, and she didn't have a lot of ranking on this one yet. So it was a great opportunity. This is exactly what we look for. Let me show you what we found. On the branch that isn't important to her anymore, you see that there's a lot of yeses and a lot of startings. What a yes means is when we do that search on YouTube, she ranks at the top, in the top 3. A starting means we have to scroll down further, but we find her in the top 20. And a no means that we don't find her. So on this branch that is not her target audience, you see that we already have a lot of traction. Now let's look at the other branch. This is the one that she wants to dominate. When we started this a year ago, she only had 2 yeses, okay? But you can see in this filming date column, we filmed 5 of these episodes in February, a few more in March, and a few more in April. And take a look at the results. By April 18th, we had turned 6 more of these topics into yeses. By May, several more. By July, several more. So now we pretty much dominate this entire branch on YouTube. So this is way more tactical, way more strategic. It's not just about being artistic and picking cool topics, but it's picking topics that we know are your target audience that are going to really help your business grow, and then knowing how you can dominate and have every one of those searches have your videos at the top. All right, this kind gentleman next recommends that you use the tool VidIQ to come up with topic ideas. Really, it's pretty much identical to the YouTube Trends tool or the AI tool that YouTube provides. It helps you be creative, but there's absolutely no strategy in this tool. The next recommendation he has is to go into the YouTube analytics and look at your suggested traffic and look at the videos that are recommending your content. Now that's a clever idea, And that strategy does actually work well if you follow the Daryl Eve strategy. So if your goal is ad revenue and you want to get as much suggested and browse traffic as possible, then this is a way of growing that. This is a way of finding ideas to get more suggested traffic. But if you're using YouTube as a lead generation for your business and you want to create topics that you're going to be able to dominate on YouTube, you want to get search traffic, which is the best type of traffic for lead generation, then I recommend that you actually just skip over this idea. You do get a lot of creative ideas here. And when I've done this, I've gotten excited about some topics, but again, they're not tactical. And so when I pursue them, I make those videos, I put them on YouTube. The videos turn out great, but do they do anything to my strategy? Do I get any search traffic? Have any of my videos doing this strategy gone viral? And the answer is no. When you find people teaching strategies like this on YouTube, here's what happened, okay? They had a video go viral, and then they reverse engineer it saying, how did this video go viral? And then they teach you what they think made that video go viral. But things that go viral, it's so elusive. What I like to do is create hundreds of videos that are tactical, that do the thing that you intend them to do. I want to teach you the strategy that we use to get Noelle's videos to rank at the top of YouTube. And all these channels on my thumbnail wall behind me, I produce over 60 different channels. I want to teach you the strategy that we use to rank at the top of YouTube. So I'll link to the video right over here. It's called the YouTube SEO Secret Strategy. You got to go watch it. It's a secret to everybody else, but I'm going to share it with you. I'll see you there now.